All right, what's up, ballers? Jacob here with AllDriveNoDrop, and David from Tickle My Pickle, and a special guest today. The owner of 11Six24 is with us. Uh, Tickle, how's it going? You ready for this interview? I think David is going to be a pretty special guest today. I mean, he just gets the most hype in the Pickleball Studio
Yeah,
Discord.
definitely.
Uh, I haven't seen an owner get as much love
Oh, looks like we got a fourth
anywhere
or a second
before.
guest here too.
Yeah, sorry about that. He's just gonna be joining. I'll try to
Hey,
get him to go away,
let him
but hey,
join.
he's
Let
our
him join.
mascot.
It's fine.
Yeah,
Your last name is pronounced Groechel, right?
yeah,
Okay, so we got David Groechel from 11Six24. How are you doing today, David? Is it going pretty well for you? Busy day today?
yeah. Can't complain, can't complain. But how about y'all?
Oh, my Lions just won. Are you a Lions fan? You're from Michigan as well, right? So, or no?
Yes, I just took all my Lions gear off. We were
Okay.
out watching the game with friends, but had to, I got to rep the brand for the interview.
Yeah, fair enough. Hey, I put up two 11Six24 paddles behind me just for you, just for this interview. My favorite, the Jelly Bean and the Monarch All Court, are my personal favorites from your line at the moment. But what is your? Let's start off there. What's your favorite paddle from your lineup? I mean, I assume you play with your paddles. So what are you rocking these days?
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now it's the Vapor All Court. So it's a new makeup of the All Court that I haven't told anyone, or only maybe 2 or 3 people know what it actually is. So that has quickly become my new favorite, and I think it's gonna be a very popular paddle.
The
Is that one
Vapor.
approved already?
It is not, but it doesn't have any foam or anything, so
Gotcha.
I am not worried about getting it approved.
Okay.
That's more of the power models, but we'll see. We'll see how those go.
Okay. Is that something you're bringing to all your shapes, or is this just like a different layup we're talking about, or uh,
Y'all will have
secrets?
to wait and see.
Wait and
So
see. Okay.
it's it has a mix of everything I have. So it's nothing crazy new, but
Okay.
it takes the Control Plus from like here to up here. Um,
Okay.
and the current all court models. And we'll see if it goes in the other ones. So y'all will
Okay.
just have to
Okay.
wait and see.
Okay. I guess I wasn't planning on jumping into the paddles, but I felt like you kind of just led us right there. Let's start out with you want to talk about your big sale coming up. I guess it's a special day for you. 11/6/24, only going to happen once in a lifetime, November 6th, 2024. You want to just let the people know about your big sale coming up, or your
Yeah,
special
for
day?
sure. So very excited about it. Gonna try to do like one of the biggest sales in pickleball history. So on 11/6, we're gonna call it 11/6 day in the future, but this one's special because it's
Yeah.
11/6 of 24. So we're gonna do 35% off all Monarchs. So that's Jelly Bean, all court, and then all the Control Pluses, Royal Burst, standard colorway, gonna be $116.24. And then we're going to do a buy one, get one on blemish paddles. Those should go pretty quickly. So if you want them, you have to log in at midnight and buy them. And there'll probably be some left in the morning, but there's not too many of those. So very excited. So just a huge sale for everyone. So if anyone's on the fence of buying one, it's like, I don't know, I'm not sure. This is a great time to test one out because you'll be able to get a Jelly Bean for what is that, like $65, and after a code, it's
That
55.
that's pretty
So
crazy.
$55 for
Yeah.
a great paddle.
Yeah, I mean at that point, I mean for me the Jelly Bean, we're just talking in the Monarch shape right now too, right? It's just the Jelly Bean in the Monarch shape for this sale.
Yeah, because
Okay.
the Hirachi X Jelly Bean, I didn't order a huge batch. I
Yeah.
never do with my first initial run just to see how
Yeah.
they do, get feedback, make sure I don't need to change anything.
Mhm.
So those will be slightly discounted $10.
Okay.
So they'll be 90, 95, and then 85 after a discount code.
Yeah. I think that the Jelly Bean Monarch is a great paddle if you're like, oh, I want to buy a paddle for a friend or a family member to help them get into it. I think it's the perfect paddle, especially with this sale. That'd be a
Yeah.
great Christmas gift. Like that's my top recommendation if someone's starting or just looking for their first paddle. I'm like, this is like just it's such a good paddle for any level, especially for like someone just getting into the game. I think it's just top tier there. Um, that's cool. So that sale's gonna be awesome. I'm sure you're gonna be very busy the next couple of weeks dealing with that, and especially on that day. Hopefully, everything's prepped and ready for that. You
Yeah,
got your
it's
team
gonna be a
ready to
busy
go.
week. Yeah.
So you have that sale going, and then I know you've had that. We talked about the alpha program, or I don't know if you want to call it a program. You're kind of doing like special runs, limited limited runs on stuff. Is that something you plan on doing continually in the future, or is this just kind of like a one-time thing?
So I don't have any other plans right now. I'm going to do something special for our top ambassadors probably in December here with a paddle that will not be a one-off that I've not announced yet, that nobody knows about. So that's coming mid-December for our top ambassadors. But as far as like the alpha program goes, if I come across something like this, something we prototyped out, I tested out back in like May and June,
Yeah.
and then I wasn't sure if anyone would like it because it's just a little different, right? It's nothing like, it's more revolutionary or evolutionary than revolutionary, right? It's not a gearbox. It's not something crazy. And I played with it and I really liked it, but I wasn't sure what other people think because it's just a little bit different. So I decided to do an alpha version, just do a limited run of 300 paddles. We released 276 of them and people end up loving it. So we did another batch and that will be out in December. And as I come across these things and something that's different, or won't make it in a production paddle, it could be something that I do, and we'll be really, giving those to our ambassadors first, or the top ones that have referrals at discounts. And then we never know. It could turn into a production paddle.
No, I mean,
Gotcha.
I think it's a good idea, especially with you, and you have such a, following that's really, really into what you're doing, and it seems like you can actually sell these limited runs. I think it would be hard, if some other companies I've heard about are trying to do their own limited runs. I don't know if the following is, hardcore enough to do it, but obviously yours is. So I think that's pretty cool. And I think Mr. Tickle here did hit some of those. You just hit one of, I don't.
Yeah, I only hit the Alpha
Okay.
2, but I know like a lot of, is it your pros that prefer the Alpha 1 right now?
Yes, I think every single person's playing with it right now. So like James, Helen, Kevin's playing with the Monarch Alpha 1. He can't use it in tournaments, but he's still playing with it. So yeah, everyone has pretty much switched to it.
We're gonna come. So I want to transition right there since you were talking about your pros. I do want to get back to what you're releasing in the future. You keep saying you got some secrets. We're gonna get you to break one news on here if we can. No.
Nope.
Okay. Okay. But how are you handling this USAP and UPA-A or UPPA? Are you going to pursue that? Have they even reached out to you? Like, where do you stand in this whole sea of not really a lot of information being shared from the two organizations?
Yeah, so that's a good question. And it's tough to be a paddle brand right now, right? So you have two competing entities who you don't know who to go with, or I mean, you kind of do, depending on where your market is. I have spoken to both. I did speak to UPA a little bit, and then I thought about dual certifying our power paddles, right? Because I want to continue to sponsor some players because, right, they're big in their communities and they help us, right? They sell a ton of paddles and are out promoting, and I want to help them back, right, and help them try to achieve their dreams of playing on the pro tour. But then once we found out about the 50K licensing fee, the numbers suddenly don't really make sense, right? Unless you're sponsoring those top 5 to 8 pros that sell paddles, it gets tough. So that's kind of where that idea fell apart, because there is some benefit to it. It does cost a lot, but being one of the only or few smaller brands that does it, there is an advantage at that lower cost of the 20 grand plus 5 grand per paddle. But then with USAP, right, I think most people want to stand behind them, and I'm not trying to critique real hard, but it's the communication is lacking. So the whole like, hey, this test is coming, and now you have 2 weeks to prepare. And I had asked like, hey, like, can we push this back 6 months? Just giving feedback of like, I had paddles, our power paddles were in production, and I'm pretty sure they'll pass, but I'm not sure, right? So I have all this, overhead of paddles. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sell. And I, gave them that feedback and said like, hey, could we push it back? I'm like, no, you've had 8 months to prepare. And it's like, prepare for what? We didn't have the numbers until 2-3 weeks ago. So it's been tricky. So we'll see what happens. I think majority of us know where we want this to go. But I think overall, there's a big, opportunity for someone, a retired engineer or anyone to come in and become like the de facto regulator and actually set up a plan and say, here's our plan, here's what we're sticking to. I think a lot of manufacturers will get behind that, at least the ones that don't sponsor the pro tours, because that gets a little iffy. But that's just my take on it. I'm not here to bash anyone. That's more feedback. But I just wish, we would stick with one.
I mean, I've bashed some of the organizations already. I mean, I'm not afraid to like just share my opinion, but do a lot of the smaller companies? I think you talked to quite a few of the other smaller company owners, right? Like, are they kind of in the same boat as you? Like, they're not going to go for the UPA certification?
As far as I know, I haven't really spoken to anyone directly about that one, but I know like on the Discord, I forget his name from Ace already said like, hey, we're not going to do it. And they're on the advisory board for UPA.
Oh, that's
So
very interesting.
yeah, so that's out there. And from what I've heard through like second parties, and again, it's through a second party, so I can't confirm it, is no one's really doing it unless you have pros on the tour. And that's the people who lose out are those up and coming players, right?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really make sense either because, like you said, like unless you're one of those top 5 athletes, like those bottom athletes, like they're already playing with like Yoel or Selkirk or whatever. But like even if they were playing with a brand, like when 6-0 first was starting to come up and they had like their first pro make it, like you didn't really do anything, right? Like it's just like you don't even get stream time on the stream because they're not making it far. So it's hard to have that paddle even do anything for awareness. And I mean, and then we were talking earlier, like say something like Pro XR, and you know, like it's on there, but like you go in person, you don't see Pro XR, so it doesn't mean you're going to sell more paddles just because it's on the stream either. So it's definitely a hard spot, and like I'm personally hoping that like everyone just follows USAP because I don't want to have 2 different bodies regulating things. But I've also kind of seen like tournaments not really like regulating stuff anyway, like local tournaments, because most of the stuff's not like you or APP or PPA, and it's just kind of like the Wild West. Like I see the Gen 3S out there and other paddles, like people don't even check the certifications at like local tournaments. So unless you're really going for the PPA and APP, it seems like it doesn't even matter what your paddle's certified as. But that's just kind of what I've been finding. You have any other questions on that, Mr. Tickle, about any of that stuff going on?
No, nothing for me.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious on that stuff. That's you know, I maybe talk about it too much, but I find it very interesting. So you know, you're talking about your power paddles. Are those still on track to come out this year, or those are looking more like next year?
So those are likely going to be a Q1 launch if we can get them approved. I'm 99.5% sure they'll pass. It's more so in the construction because the way the rules are written, and even though there's this new test, it's still a very gray area, and it seems to be up to USAP to decide like, hey, we like this construction or we don't. It's different from everything that's out there, and it's been described as like a very linear power paddle, and it is soft around the net and does have some power. Nothing crazy. It's not Gen 3-esque like of the original ones, but a little bit less. So that combined with feedback I've gotten from the reviewers of like kind of haphazardly launching things, that's tough to do reviews on and things. And well, that's worked for me, right? Because it's allowed me to get feedback, make sure it's good, and then by the time it kind of catches on, the reviewers pick it up. But I think we're going to do a big launch in Q1, end of January, beginning of February, to give everyone some time to get things in order, test the paddles, and really get them out there and do it right this time.
Yeah, sounds good. I mean, there's definitely been some stuff where it's like I've tested it and then like the stuff keeps getting delayed or there's problems with it, and that's always frustrating because it's like, well, I wasted my time like trying this and like I don't even know if it's going to come out now. So, and also, you know, you keep people waiting, something like the True Foam where it's been over a year now, and you know, like people lose interest. So I think it's good to, you know, plan it and launch it well. So I'm definitely excited to see it. There's obviously a ton of power paddles coming out these days, but I think you'll have some great success there with all the stuff I've heard.
Yeah, David, do you actually have like an engineering background at all? Because I'm just wondering, since you said you did a lot of or changed up the construction, so I'm just curious, like how that was done. Like you don't have to go into details of the construction, but I just want to get an idea of like what your background is.
So no, my background is like I have a finance degree, worked in finance for a bit, tried to open a bar, started back up in sales and worked my way and taught myself to be a self-taught software engineer, and then taught myself AI and was the first AI engineer at HubSpot on the marketing team. So I'm a little bit all over the place now, paddles, but it's something I've learned, right? Like I've tried a new surface that I found on YouTube from researching composites, and it didn't work out. But I'm not an engineer like Rafa. Like I'm never gonna from Gearbox who's gonna design a core and really cool. It's actually a really cool system once you learn how it works. But it's more of working with them and coming up with ideas of other things I've seen and kind of what I like. Let's try this, combined with the different cores and the different surface layups. So nothing crazy, but it's just something that we've been working on with the factory. I have a good relationship with them since last fall, really. Like the Alpha Core was something I've been talking to them since last November, December.
Okay, gotcha.
That's a pretty impressive background right there. How often are you do you go over and you visited the factory? I assume or no?
I wish.
Okay.
I gotta find time because I'm a one-man show, and I answer pretty much 95% of the support questions. I fulfill every order. Sorry, I don't know why Google
You gave it a thumbs up and wanted to help you out.
Pretty soon there's gonna be fireworks behind me. It does that one too. But I fulfill all orders. I answer pretty much every customer support email. I'm going out and doing events. Like Tuesday, I'm going to shoot some promotional video at a club. I'm playing a tournament here Saturday, a tournament in Atlanta Sunday. So it's been hard for me to get there. And as soon as I find some time, I want to go over there because then you pretty much do a prototype a day and just try a bunch of stuff that otherwise would take, hey, will you get this in the queue? Will you make it? Send it to me. Oh, it's terrible. Let's change this. Let's do that. So it'd be nice to get over there and do it. And hopefully in the next 6 to 8 months.
Okay. Yeah, I figured you would have already been over there a couple times with, just your personality. I thought you would want to be like checking everything out, seeing what's going on, but okay. Cool. Well, I hope you get over there. It'll be definitely fun for you. So you're doing this full time now? Or
Yep.
Okay. What was the moment where you're working your full-time job, you're doing this on the side? When was that moment where you're like, I just need to go full-time and do this, and I need to devote everything?
Last spring, come April, May, it started to really take off. And then I was down in Atlanta at the PPA, and I played in it. And you turn to a bunch of different courts, and you look, and at one point, I was standing between 4 courts, and there was 2 on one on another, one on another, and one on another. And it's like, okay, I can do this. And sales were enough at that point where it was like, all right, I can support myself. And luckily, my wife is very supportive of everything. And I was like, hey, I think I'm going to go full time later this summer and just button up a few things at my job. And that was kind of the point where I was like, I couldn't do both anymore very well. Like both were suffering.
Yeah.
And then that's when I decided just to take the leap. Probably should have done a little earlier, but it's tough to know, right? So.
No, I hear you. It's like you don't want to go too soon, and then you're like, oh, well, I lost the job. Like, especially if you liked your job, and then you're like, well, now I can't go back, maybe. And that's cool. I've always wondered, like, hopefully one day, like, I could do that too, and then just be like, psh, but got a lot of responsibility to assure up first. Did you have any questions off the top of your head, David?
Yeah, I guess we probably should have asked this first, but yeah, I'd love to learn like what made you decide to start 11Six24.
Yeah, it's a good question. So I've always been kind of an entrepreneur. Before this, right, I put myself through college with a landscaping company. I was fixing Xboxes and selling them on eBay when I was in, high school to pay for stuff. It really came because I liked chocolate milk as a kid. Mm-hmm. And my mom I drank it all, and she's like, okay, now you can just go buy your own. So I found ways to make money to do that. But then got into pickleball, kind of like everyone else, played once during COVID, played again a year or two later. And I was like, all right, I'm going to start playing, and started with, whatever paddle I could find that I thought was okay. And then upgraded to one of the $220 ones, broke 2 of them. Didn't try to warranty them because when I play singles and I'm roughing my paddles, I break every single paddle. And they snapped at the throat. I was like, there's got to be a better way. I want to start another business. I just had sold an app and was looking for something else to do because I like to combine something like physical because I hate running. I hate working out. And pickleball was that. And start another business. And it just kind of worked out. And I started with the catalog paddle, the YSF.
Yeah.
Which was funny because the test paddles I had were much softer, and I sent them to you. And I remember you're like, this is just basically a Vatic V7.
Yeah.
And it was. But not the test paddles I had weren't. So it's funny. And that's kind of how I got started. So, and it's morphed and grown into its own thing since then.
Yeah, I remember when you first reached out to me. It was like random because I was like, I saw your email and you're like, oh, I'm in DC too, and I was like, at that time I was just starting out as well, and so I was like not sure if you were like a real person or if you were just trying to get my address. And then I gave your paddle a try, and I was like, okay, I mean, we went for like a pretty low price point. Nothing special about this paddle, but it's definitely been fun to see you grow. Like I always like tell people, like, yeah, David, I remember when he first started, there was at one point you called it a hybrid paddle, because that's what Carbon calls it. To be fair, they call their 3X a hybrid, and I was like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. But then now you definitely like grown a lot, like learned a lot more, and like, you're one of the most like knowledgeable owners I know.
Yeah, thank you. I still don't know a lot, but I remember that, and Braden posted in my comments on Instagram saying, "Hey, just so you know, this is all the lengths and what they mean."
Yeah,
Where I learned, but now I do know a lot more. But hey, you got to start somewhere, right?
yeah.
That's funny. I mean, remember the first time I saw the name 11Six24. I don't know if you want to tell the story, how common it is people know your origin story of the name, but I thought you were just like some Chinese brand that was off Amazon, and I'm like 11Six24, because you know, like all these emails we get from different Chinese manufacturers, it's like it's just some weird names, you know, like translated sometimes. So that's just why I thought, I'm like, it's like they just pick some numbers and put it in a company name.
Yeah, as you can see, marketing and branding is not in my background. We're working on that, and I'm working with the right people now. And now it's a big question of, do I rebrand? Do I not? And it's kind of come to the conclusion that I shouldn't, even though it may be a little harder to remember. It's kind of caught on and taken its own life and its own joke. And everyone I talk to that knows it says no, but everyone who doesn't know it says, oh, you should. So
Yeah.
I go back and forth. I don't know the right answer. It's tricky.
I mean, I don't think you should at this point. I think you clear up, like you hammer in those model names, like in the shape names, and just get those cleared. But I feel like you know, people, once they join the 11Six24 lifestyle, you know, they feel like, oh, like I know the secrets and I know all the, you know, the stuff, and it feels like you have built like a pretty good community. So I would never change the name and the logo. I've seen people do that. I really think it just sets it sets your brand back when you change the name and you change the logo, because you just kind of have to rebuild. You know, like I don't want to name any names, but it just takes a little bit more time, and I'm not really a fan of rebranding. You know, just go with what you got, and it's really like what you're producing anyway, or like your personality behind it, and the two. So, you know, that's what makes a product anyway. But
Yeah, it's definitely pros and cons to
yeah,
both. So we'll see. I no plans of right now, and I don't think it'll happen. But you never know. You can never say never.
yeah, you never know what can happen these days. I mean, I I don't know if I have any other questions. I mean, kind of went faster than I thought. Pretty good at, you know, summing things up and getting the information out there. I I think we're, you know, pretty excited about your power paddle lineup coming up. So, you know, I'm sure the people are excited about your sale. I don't personally need any more paddles. I got a little bit too many right now. Mr. Tickle, did you have any other questions? And then, of course, David, if you have anything else you want to say after.
I got two more questions for you.
All right, let's go.
All right, so one is so a lot of people, I guess mostly on like the Discord, when they think of your company, they kind of associate you with that whole CFC surface. Like, how did you think of that? And do you think that was gonna blow up in popularity like it has right now?
So I didn't. I remember I brought them out to you, and you told me to make the FCF paddle,
Yeah, I
right?
did.
With fiberglass on the top. You and everyone else in that group. But I don't know. There was just something when I got the samples, because I tried a bunch of different things. I'm like, I ordered a ton of paddles when I was gonna do the Hirachi X, because I was like, I want to do something different. I don't think the shape is just enough. Like, you know, let's see what we can do. And the first couple hits I had with it, I just knew like, hey, this is it. It was similar with the Alpha, but the Alpha was different because back then I was not a very good player. I'm still working my way up. So Chris is doing his road to 5.0. I'm doing my road to 4.5. But I don't know. And I just kind of knew, right? You have this feeling, and same with the Alpha. And then this Vapor All Court that I hit last week was just like, wow, okay, this is it. So I started going with it, and then it just, everyone loved it, and it kind of set everything apart. And just continue to roll with it. And there may be some changes in the future of something better, but you never know.
Yeah, I remember that first time I tried it. I remember I liked the paddle, but this is also why I'm not selling pickleball paddles. And I remember we were all like, I think you need to stand out a bit more. You need to make the FCF. You need to make power paddle. Good thing you didn't listen to us. So
Yeah, I was close because I was like, oh, they know they hit all these paddles.
but I did like the feel a lot. When I remember when I was hitting it, I was like, it doesn't feel too different, but it feels good. Like we all like that one.
Yeah. So no, it's a good paddle. Still is a good paddle. I was
Yeah.
hitting it earlier today, just out playing with some local people in the neighborhood to get to know them. And yeah, I still very much enjoy it.
Okay. Yeah. Last one for you. What is your favorite paddle that is not one that you own, or not one from your company?
Ooh, this is a good question. So
Yeah, we see you with those competitor paddles all the time.
Oh, I mean, that's part of it. Like, so I grew up, my parents worked in the auto industry, and once a year, right, they would have a bring your family to work day, and you go to the design centers. And outside the design centers are all the competitors' cars, right? So everyone does this. And I think it's important. And plus, I'm a paddle nerd just like everyone else. Like, I love trying different things, which is very detrimental to my game. So, oh boy. The one, if I had to go to a tournament today and pick a paddle that was not my own, it would have to be the mod. I hate saying that, but like,
everyone's groaning.
No, I know, I hate saying that, and it's the fact that it breaks. Like mine came crunched out of the box, but it just, when you play in those upper levels, if you don't have a power paddle, you just feel like you're at a disadvantage. So that, or if it wasn't like whatever you want to call it, some people say cheater paddle, but it is approved, so it is what it is. That's a tricky one. I would have to go through my box, but
you can name a few if you want.
Yeah,
that you just enjoy.
The sad thing is I have a whole box of paddles sitting out there that I haven't even hit yet in the last 3 months. But I hit today with the new ALW paddle, the 14 point whatever it is, and that's a really nice paddle. If the sweet spot was better, it would be a little bit better, but besides that, that's a pretty good paddle.
You're talking about the new updated 5.25 inch handle one, not the ESQ.
Yeah, and someone 3D printed me a butt cap that extends a little bit that I'm going to test out too.
Nice.
So, but
Would
yeah,
that's rocket ship power in the pop levels, or
the rocket ship's its own thing. So people are saying,
or your power paddles aren't the rocket ship.
No, they're going to be called. Okay, so this is something there. You'll get something out of me. So this will be called the rocket ship core.
Okay.
But it was really supposed to be the alpha because what I was told and what we had been talking about, it was going to be a power paddle, but it's definitely not. It's an all court leaning power if you really hit it, right? You have to unlock the power with it. So yes, so the power paddles will have the rocket ship core, and it's a step above the Apollo, but it has a really plush, nice Gen 3 feeling, but it's soft around that. You don't pop stuff up. Like you can reset like you do with the Alpha. It's very odd.
You're talking about the Olympus, not the Apollo, right?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Okay, just making sure. I was like, the Apollo is not Apollo.
Yeah. I play with someone. I know exactly. I have both.
Okay.
I know what
just wanted to make sure for the people listening, he's not talking about the Apollo.
No. So, yeah, it should be a step above those. And outside of that, I mean, I'm excited to try the new Chorus paddles. Those are different. The new Vatic is different. I have that on the way, and the 007, which I'm not as excited to try, but it's something different. So
yeah,
I'm a paddle nerd like everyone else. Just because I own a company doesn't mean I can't, get out there and try some things.
Awesome. I knew we were gonna get something out of you if I go long enough.
Yeah, but outside of that, no, there are some things I'm not saying. So people are like, "Oh, you tell us everything." I'm like, "No, I don't."
You give them enough to keep like coming back, right?
Oh well, yeah. You give them something so they get excited,
yeah. You gotta give them a taste. It's like you give out the free samples, so then they come by the meal.
Yeah, yeah. Give them the alpha, they come back for the power paddle.
Exactly. I had a question of like, why do you think you have like the most active like channel, thread, whatever you want to call it, in Discord? But I feel like the answer is kind of like obvious. It's like because you're there. Because I've seen other owners talk about like, how do we get our channel more active? And I'm like, you gotta be there, like, because you give access to people and you answer questions and you're interacting with people there. that's the only reason the channel is so active. I mean, like, well, the reason it has become so active, I think, and people congregate there is because it's a place of community, but also it's like a place of information and getting news and just different stuff. Do you think there's any other reasons I'm missing, or do you think that's really it? Is you're showing up and you're making it better?
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to distill it down super simple,
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. And I want to say, like, it's not just me, right? There's a whole community of people who believe in 11/6/24 and use the paddles. And, even if it's not their main paddle, they'll still tell people, like, hey, this is good for you. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what makes it, is the whole community. It's not just one person. I just happen to make the paddles and be there, but it's everyone else who believes in the brand and loves the paddles. And that's the biggest thing, right? I would never sponsor someone and say, hey, you have to make social posts and you have to say the paddles are great. Like, I want our sponsored players or our super ambassadors to tell me what's not working,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I can improve upon it. And there's a lot of things that I need to work on and improve, but it's the whole community. It's not just me.
Yeah, I agree. I see people in there sharing all. They're very helpful in sharing stuff. So, and this isn't related to that, but I do agree, as someone playing in the higher level. Like, when you play with people that are playing with those power paddles, especially when they're playing with the mods, you really do need a power paddle to hang in there. I think, like, I've been playing with people that play with the mods, and it's like, I'm on a game with 3 mods. If I don't have something powerful, like, I'm just at a disadvantage. Like, I could still win, but if we're all equal, I'm gonna lose because my paddle's just putting me at a disadvantage with what they can do. Like, if they're putting a ball away with a mod, it's pretty much being put away every time. If I'm trying to put the ball away with something that's like control oriented, they have a chance to get to it. So, like, every time I'm hitting that shot, my odds of winning are going down and down and down because I'm not using the power paddle. But
Yeah, but then some of it too, and I think it's more at the upper levels where people can control it. I'm not there yet. I still enjoy a power
Yeah.
paddle, but you have to ask yourself, playing against those paddles, like, how did that happen? How were they able to put that away, right? So it didn't matter which paddle they had; they were probably gonna put it away anyways. You just see that power difference. So at the lower levels, it's more of like, what could I use? Something like the jelly bean, and a lot of people send me messages and say, hey, like, I know power paddles are all the rage, but thank you for making this. Like, I play so much better and I can
Oh,
control everything. And I'm in the same camp. I should be using a less
yeah.
powerful one, but I say at the lower levels what you have to, like, watch yourself. So while it's a disadvantage at upper levels because they're so good, like counters and stuff need to
Mm-hmm.
come back just as fast, or you have to be able to counter. And it's harder with the other paddle. So yeah, that's kind of my take on. I'm sorry I went off on a
No,
side
I
note.
mean, I agree. It's definitely level dependent. It's like when you start getting 4.550, when you get the power paddle in your hands and you can just start hitting people with it. That's kind of when I'm like, that's another discussion. But, like, I'm like, man, the games really isn't as fun as when I was playing, 2 years ago. But, like, I have to get a power paddle because I have to have these hot counters and I have to have the ability to hit someone from the mid core or from the baseline. But, like, you're not going to be able to do that as like a 3L 3.5 like with these power paddles. It's a lot harder to control. But yeah, it's an interesting area, and I'm really interested to see what some of these paddles come in for their PV core test numbers once we start getting those. I've been trying to dig hard, and everyone who's got their paddle tested, even in October, it seems like their numbers haven't been there. The only number I've seen is the Ripple, and I'm still not sure if that's accurate because it doesn't seem like the Ripple was broken in when they tested it. So
Well,
see.
we even heard after. We don't know if that's the number. It was told to someone,
Yeah,
unless someone else
a game of
confirmed that.
telephone.
Yeah, and I don't know. There's been so many different things floated out, but the only people that know anything are the 2 to 4 paddles that are going to be banned, and nobody knows. Like, nothing's been listed on the website, so it's tough. It's been tricky to navigate this,
Yeah.
but you have to roll with the punches and go with the flow, and that's what I'm doing. And it may have slowed me down a little bit, but you can do what you can do. So
Yeah, for sure. You can only handle what's in front of you and go from there. So doing a good job. I don't have any other. Do you have any other questions?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Do you have anything else you wanted to say, or any questions you wanted to ask us?
No, just a big thank you to everyone who supports us, all of our sponsor players, the big community online, all of our ambassadors, and everyone else. Because, right, as I said, it takes a village, and couldn't do this all myself. So just wanted to give a big thanks to everyone, and it's been awesome. The whole pickleball community is awesome. You can go anywhere, meet people, play, and hang out, and it's just so cool. So
Awesome, David. Really appreciate you joining us. You're welcome back anytime, of course, and appreciate the time. Tickle, did you have anything else?
No, I'm good.
Okay, cool. We'll let you get back to whatever you got going on tonight, and enjoy that Lions victory, however you choose to do so.
yeah, very excited. So
All right, so that was great having David on. Twin David from Tickle, my
Yeah.
pickle.
I
David
think it
from
just
11
worked out that I can go by Tickle too, so I didn't get
Yeah,
confused.
that's true. But yeah, pretty cool that you pretty much he started with you as a reviewer. You did do the YSF review in his original
I
paddle?
did, yeah. Back then, I reviewed every single thing that came
Whew,
to me, like
that's a
full-length
lot of
video.
work.
I mean, there was not that many paddles, but
Okay.
yeah, that was I remember just playing with it. I was like, this is just a catalog paddle, but okay. So you want at a low price, I'll just highlight that.
Yeah, hey, if I guess there's always a right price point for, well, I won't say for everything, but for some stuff. But yeah, enjoyed talking to him, and go check out his sale on November 6th. I don't even know what is today. Today's the
Today's
4th
third.
or 3rd. So what is
so
that,
we got 3
Wednesday?
days.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, Wednesday. Okay,
Yeah, Wednesday.
yeah, this coming Wednesday. I'm sure they're gonna sell a ton of paddles, so I know people have been waiting for this day. But besides that, got a new segment here, Mr. Tickle. It's called What the Pickle.
All right.
So the idea behind this segment, What the Pickle, is just kind of nude pickleball would have fit perfectly in What the Pickle. It's kind of like you just can't believe it, or it's something shocking, something wild. This story comes, we got 15 minutes. Okay, so this story comes from my local courts that happened 3 months ago, and I completely forgot about it. Someone was talking to me about it recently. I'm like, all right, I got a new segment now. So there's this place that has 2 courts, and I'm just gonna tell the story. I won't surprise you any. This guy, this is in the middle of August. It's 80 degrees out, and he's wearing a hoodie, sweatshirt, and he's playing pickleball. I think he has glasses on, and he has something covering his face too. I don't know if it's a bandana, something covering his face. So basically, you can't see him. It's 80 degrees out, and he's playing pickleball like that. And there's only 2 courts, and people are trying to get him to rotate. Right, it's a busy area, and he won't rotate, and he's just kind of staring people down. And then I guess gets to be a confrontation, and starts yelling, blah blah blah. Goes to his bag, and he pulls out a gun on the pickleball court.
Okay.
And he starts walking at. There's a video. I don't know. I'm not gonna play the video because I'm not really sure if I can get in trouble for playing the video. But let me try to find out. So he gets, and I'm surprised this didn't even make some news, because this is pretty crazy. And so he starts walking towards the person with his gun. Luckily, it seemed like there was someone else there that knew him, because I don't even know if this guy ended up getting caught, because the thing was, nobody knew who he was. He wasn't a local player, and so he got the gun, and luckily the person that was with him was able to calm him down and leave. But this was all over people trying to get him to rotate, and he was like, I don't need to rotate, there's no rules against it. So, and this is not a bad area or anything. So I thought it was pretty crazy, because I've played at these courts, and I'm like, man, I never would have expect someone to pull out a gun over pickleball. But yeah, that's my What the Pickle moment.
I'm just surprised I didn't even hear about this, because I feel like this should have been new.
You would
pulled a
make
gun on pickleball court.
almost well, I guess it's hard to make national news these days. You got to have something crazy, but you would have thought this would have at least made my local news.
Yeah, I felt like it would have made one of these Instagram accounts we follow, because I'm assuming you follow pickleball content.
Yeah, like memes of pickleball or something. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
send it to them, and they can do something with it. The video was pretty bad too. Like it was kind of like not grainy, but just like not the best quality. But yeah, it was wild. Like in every like it was like the talk of the town when it happened. Like everyone's like, "Did you hear?" So it pulled a gun at the courts, and I'm like, "Jeez, like come on!" I don't want to feel unsafe going to the courts. So if you have anything out there, and maybe you have something for next time for What the Pickle segment, maybe brought to you by some sponsor in the future. I don't know. But yeah, that's my What the Pickle moment for the week. And then we just have some paddles to talk about real quick. I mean, I guess we'll try to keep this like shorter to this week. We'll talk about the highlights. What have you been hitting? You've been hitting the Vatic Sagas a lot?
Yeah, mostly the Sagas.
Okay.
I didn't love them the first time I hit with them. I was like kind of hard to control with it. Also, probably because I was using like more all-court style paddles, so it was a bit of an adjustment for me. But I started hitting the long handle flash.
Okay.
I like that shape a lot actually because it just shifts the balance point up higher for me. So it's like similar to that Mark 1X. And this one I've been liking a lot more. I've finally gotten used to the feel because it's just for me it's just like it's got a really plush feel to it, but it's also a bit poppy. So it was like an interesting feel for me, but I really enjoy it now. Gonna try to use it in my men's league tomorrow night and I'll let you know how that goes.
Nice. Yeah, it does have an interesting feeling because like I think because it's not thermoformed right and it has the edge foam, it does feel like that plush, like softer feeling, but it does pop off fast.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoy the feeling. I've been using the short handle flash, and it feels really good. Like I played some really, really good games with it. Like usually just starting out with the paddle, like I wouldn't say like, oh, like I play amazing, but like first day I played with it and I played with it again today, I was playing great. Like, and usually some of these power paddle, like on the power paddle side, like I struggle with the drops at first until I tune it in, but this thing, it just, you get the short stroke, you can hit drops really easily with it. Like it's going to be very popular, I think, for the price point. And if I had to pinpoint it right now, I would say like the way I have it weighted up, because it comes in at higher like stock swing weight than like say the Olympus or I don't know. I guess the Olympus would be the main comparison. We got the Flow Prime X too. I don't know what the swing weight of that is. I think it might be around the same.
I had it written down somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, I would say like weighted similarly. I think the Olympus has more top end power by a little bit, but it's pretty close. But I would say like it's less harsh maybe at some of those higher like big swings, and maybe a little bit bigger of a sweet spot. But I'm not sure. More to come. I gotta hit them side by side. I think the Olympus definitely has more pop, a little bit, and then but like these two, like that. Oh man, yeah, the Vatic Saga is going to be very popular. I really like the feel. I think like the feeling of that, and like compared to the Olympus, I like the feeling of the Saga better. So if you're like a big feel person, I think you're gonna like that. I mean, it does pop. I wouldn't say it gets like a ton of dwell time though. Like
yeah. That's the one
if
thing.
you like big dwell time, but I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's like I hear people saying like the Ripple gets a ton of dwell time, but I'm like, man, it pops off the face so fast. Like I guess it can pocket the ball a little bit, but it's so poppy. Like at the end of the day, if the paddle's really poppy, like how much time can it dwell in the paddle?
Yeah,
that's just kind of my opinion. I don't know. It's such a like subjective thing. Like there's not really. No one's measuring the dwell time, right? Like we can't.
Yeah, it's hard to quantify that. So basically, all we can really do is like talk about how it feels, and
yeah, it's so. But yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be a huge success for Vatic. Like, especially if these paddles don't have like, if they don't have quality control concerns compared, because they're not thermoform, no foam in the core. So I think that
core crush.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to have any issues. So that's going to be huge. Like getting the performance at the price point with no issues. I mean, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
So excited for those. And I guess we can talk more in depth about next time. Although I guess it's coming out, what, the 15th, right?
Yeah, and I think the ambassadors already got an order. So I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean that's all I have to say about them right now. You have anything else to add?
No.
Okay.
No.
And then uh, you had an update to give on the Gherkins.
The Gherkins,
Okay.
yeah, because my initial thoughts was like, I think you had the same one where it's just like pretty high swing weight and like the silicone basically added just like a lot of weight to it.
Yep.
I kind of give that feedback back to them, and then they actually told me that they redid it recently, so they're sending me another one.
They redid they redid it a third time.
I guess so. I think they made the handle longer from what I remember, and I think the swing weight went down. So I was gonna give this one another try.
Okay. 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 Interesting. Oh yeah, the so I haven't hit it anymore, but maybe I will. The SpeedUp, Pyro, and
Cryo.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
remember that. SpeedUp, Pyro, and Cryo. I can't say it. So they have really nice molded handles. The Pyros behind me. We'll just talk about. I think one's supposed to be power, one's control. I only got to hit them a little bit. They come out November 4th, so I just didn't really get enough time to give you like a good opinion on them. Just wanted to alert you. Do have really nice handles. I can attest to that. Have you gotten them or hit them yet?
I just got them the other day. I have not hit them yet,
Okay.
so I haven't played it
All right,
in a
we'll
few
talk
days.
about those more next time, maybe then. But they are coming out on sale. Other news: Ripple maybe November 22nd. I don't know if that's confirmed. Maybe, I don't know. Flare Prime X coming out November 5th. I have a review coming out. Do you have a review too?
Yep, yeah, working on that right now. Just gotta record everything.
Great spot for the wide body market, you know, just below the Paddle Tech, Annalee Water, and ESQ for like power and pop. So I think those will be very popular at a great price. Let's see.
I guess the other Neonic one, the Flow Prime, 17th, I think, for that one.
Then I had the 19th. You said the 17th?
I forget. I might be wrong.
Coming out the
It's
17th
sometime in there.
or the 19th. But yeah, I think it was like 2 weeks later. Yeah, I think it's the 19th. So you know that will be interesting, coming out right around the same time as the Saga. Bread and Butter Invader, November 29th. Chorus Fires, November 30th. I don't think I have any dates for paddles coming out in December, but maybe something will sneak in. Oh, there may be a new Spartus paddle coming out in December, or being announced in December. I'm not sure. But I don't have any details on that, so we will try to get that out of Josh for next time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was surprised that he's got something cooking up so soon, so that'll be interesting to see. And then yeah, I've mainly been hitting the Saga and the Flow Prime X, and the Olympus, trying to get ready to compare all of them as they the new ones come out. You know, I think it's great that we have some power hybrids in the market, because we're really missing power hybrids. None of the big companies want to make hybrids, I guess. So I don't think I have anything else. Did you have any other paddles you wanted to talk about, or any news?
I haven't really hit any of these. Just whatever I have coming. Like I got the new Apes paddles. We just came in just now, so I'm gonna hit these for a little bit. And I think you have one too, but the Holbrook.
Oh yeah, we can talk. Have you hit that one?
Nope. Still have the wrap on it, so
Oh,
I haven't even
okay.
done.
Well, as far as the ape stuff goes, I have hit it like a little bit. Not really sure like how much time I need to put in on it before, like, some people are saying that it changes and it breaks in and gets a lot more powerful. So we'll see. I'll try to get more time in with that. It seems like the opinions like split all over. I don't know what to make of it.
I feel like we have to hit it for a bit, so it'll be a while before I post anything.
This Holbrook Aero at Pro Series, I have the wide body. I don't know what do you have there?
I got the elongated.
Okay, we went with the opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Actually played really well with this. This is definitely a control paddle for me. It was, for an edgeless paddle, and I played this stock just to, I like to see like if an edgeless paddle can be played stock. I think it's interesting because like if you have a edgeless paddle that someone's going to pick up and play for the first time, and it's going to be like a bad sweet spot or feel harsh, then like I think they're just going to put it down. This plays really good for a stock paddle.
Okay.
You know, very low power pop combo, but you know, really, really good spin, really good control, and you know, like a pretty good sweet spot considering it being edgeless. And I know they did I think they did some internal weighting in here too.
Yeah, they did.
So that's probably why it felt pretty good. Super maneuverable, obviously. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I mean, I'm not really looking for a control paddle right now. I think these are. I don't know what the price is on this.
I think it's 200.
Yeah. So on the price you're on, and I know like it's like when you start going expensive, people are expected. For some reason, power is like the expensive paddles. So for an expensive control paddle, I don't know what the market is for it. But if you are looking for it, you like Holbrook. I know there's like people that just like Holbrook for like the brand and the looks. It's a really solid paddle. I did enjoy it. So I'm interested to see if the elongated performs pretty well too, because you would think it's similar, but you never know. Sometimes the elongated and the other stuff play quite a different.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing else from me.
All right. Well, what do I have? Yeah. We'll see. We got a lot of stuff. November's going to be busy, but I mean, the main focus today was to do the interview. Had a couple paddle updates for you. But that's all I've got. So thank you for listening. And if you're watching, thank you for watching. Also, I guess I should have mentioned at the beginning, but we are on Spotify now. And I think Apple Podcasts or wherever you want to find your podcast, it's on like a whole bunch of different ones. So go check it out there if you prefer. I know some people are asking if it could get on Spotify, so it is there now. David, thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great day, everybody. Thank you.